Hey, happy Friday. It's Nutball Cop again. I just want to preface saying I am not criticizing this dude for speaking out, this ex Ranger, former captain in the Rangers, because everything he's saying is basically true. Okay. When I start giving my criticism, keep them in the framework is I'm not criticizing him. I'm criticizing us. Okay, I'm criticizing this generation of law enforcement, this administration, and our acceptance to this bullshit. Like we're just figuring out how the street law works. I've talked about this before. Okay, there is a law of the street, and if you don't know it, that's how you get hurt.
Yeah, they're terrorizing the population. I was just saying, like, one, in Afghanistan, we never wore masks. I went on 4 deployments. The only time we would wear, like, a face covering is maybe if it was cold and my guys were on a.
We could never wear masks. If we got caught wearing masks in West Germany, the Germans would have went nuts on us, and so would the user commander.
you know, you were pulling security somewhere, or maybe it was dusty, you wore a shamag or whatever. But we didn't wear masks. Again, this officer is not wearing a mask. He's one of the leaders. That's smart. No one here is going to be going after him. If you're fighting the actual cartels and you're on the border, fine. If you want to protect your identity, totally makes sense. But they're wearing all this gear for no reason. This is coming from the top. They shouldn't have. They should have low vis, bulletproof vests, or they should wear their fucking vests underneath a smock. If you're going to be doing this, ICE should not be running around. None of these guys should be running around in plate carriers.
Okay, I said this after 9/11. I wrote it in blog. I've talked about it here. Cops should not be running around looking like goddamn Rangers in Afghanistan. Okay? That's why the police tanks are bullshit. You literally, after 9/11 in this country, again, I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming America at large. Okay? You roamed around this country in police tanks, literally telling us how the tanks were going to solve crimes. You just had to intimidate the population enough with a tank. With a fucking idiot sitting on top of the tank with a fucking rifle saying that the crime rate is going down.
Against civilians, and they just got this huge budget, so why are they not wearing low vis stuff? It just makes no sense. It's here to intimidate everyone here, and they're trying to get. And then obviously Bovino, I mean, I don't know what he was doing. He took some glamour shots with a trench coat, and they're just trolling people. Yeah, he took it with a trench coat to look like he was some SS officer. Literally, yes, I was just like, I'm a history guy. I studied history, European history, World War II, and then as a
me too
officer, we studied a lot of history in the military. When I was at Captain Maneuver Career Course, we studied history. I mean, come on, you don't do this. I'll be honest, in Afghanistan, there's a thing called Pashtunwali. If you came in and you intimidated the local populace like this and you beat up a bunch of people, they would hit back. That's how it works there. Americans are just very nice. They're out here protesting. Again, if these guys weren't here, none of these people would be here. Yeah.
Okay. I've tried to describe to you several times before, either over on my old Groovy Libertarian page on Facebook or here on Substack. Okay, you cannot just walk into a bar because there's a drunk lady at the bar that has been refused service, and you're just going to walk in and start kicking the shit out of people because you got a call for service. Okay, you walk up to that woman in the bar and you don't use your interpersonal communication skills. You don't put her into a simple come along lock or a good wrist lock. Get her quietly out of the bar into the car and away without causing a scene. You're going to have more of a problem on your hand. Okay? Worst case scenario, an ICE agent gets this call today in 2025. He sees the drunk woman that the bartender has 86. He walks up and goes, fucking bitch, and punches her in the face. Let me tell you about the street law. Every fucking guy in that bar is going to jump you. Okay? Okay, tough guy? You can take on 10, 20, 30 men because you're a war hero, the felony, bro. I dressed up like the SS, bro. They got swastika tattoos and SS tattoos on their necks. They're going through the ICE Academy. They can't read and write properly enough to pass tests. They can't do sit-ups, so they drop the physical tests. But yeah, put a nice officer into that bar call, the 86 call that I just described. Do what ICE is known for doing. That ICE agent gets his fucking hands fucking broken. They will beat him and kick him till he is unconscious. Just because you wear a badge, just because you have authority, does not give you the right to beat, torture, and kill people because you feel bad about yourself. Okay? And this is where I get a little annoyed. Again, I'm not mad at the captain, this former soldier, whatever. It's not him. It's not him at all. But, oh, I had to go to Afghanistan to learn the law of the street. Well, maybe you should have been with us 40 years ago when we were doing this. Okay? You walk up to the mountain boys or the valley boys. The mountains were to the north, the valley was to the south. These were white boy gangs. This wasn't the Mexicans or the blacks. This was the white boy gangs. You go up to the mountains because you're looking for their group and you just start beating and torturing and shooting at people. The next time you go up that hill, they'll be waiting for you. There are bodies in that mountain the cops have never found. There are bodies in the valley and in the trench in the ocean just by the valley that the sheriff had to write them off as missing persons. Okay, they're gone. They're obliterated. No one will ever find them again. Okay? If you think you had to go to Afghanistan to learn this, you should have worked undercover with this on the West Coast back in the 80s. Okay? There is a law to the street. They're breaking the law to the street. We're about to have a Rodney King riot, except 100 times worse. And it's going to be instigated by Kristi Noem and Bovino. It's time to put on the helmet. This is it. We're here. The balloon has gone up. They're killing people in the streets. They're murdering people because the agent, the unqualified jerk-off, Nazi-minded buffoon, thought the woman was a fucking bitch, so he thought he could execute her. And everybody in the federal government is completely okay with the federal government executing people. Apparently the NRA is completely okay with the tyrannical U.S. government going into towns and murdering people. Okay? I'm just shocked and awed myself that we have to send somebody 9,000 miles away to understand how the street works in the United States and the way it's always worked since the wild, wild fucking West. Since nobody knows how America actually works, especially the people in charge, yeah, this is going to turn into a ever-loving disaster. Prepare yourselves, prepare your family, set yourself for perseverance in the worst situation, including a gigantic economic downturn, because it's here. They're okay with killing people in the streets. This won't be the last one, because I guess unless you traveled 9,000 miles and was a captain in the Ranger, you don't know how American streets work. Think about it.